Going on, everybody? My name is the Masked Man, and today I'm going to talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct that just happened today, earlier this morning. I have a lot of thoughts about it, and I just want to get them out. Just some quick thoughts. Nothing too scripted, nothing too heavily focused. There's Arlo for that. Um, but yeah, we're just gonna talk about it a little bit, give my initial impressions, and just it's not really scripted. Let's get into it. So first thing is we had Super Mario Kart, or no, not Super Mario Kart, Mario Kart World. And going into this, I was thinking, even just yesterday, like, do we really need a new Mario Kart game at the moment? I know a lot of people have been asking for that. I know Mario Kart 8 has been around since 2014, since the Wii U. But I was just thinking, like, Mario Kart 8 did so much. It, perfected the Mario Kart formula a lot. It did so much with the course packs and all the just the new tracks, the characters. We even had characters from other Nintendo franchises. So going into this, I was just thinking like I'm just not really like that interested in a new Mario Kart. Like it's cool or whatever, but it's just not like something I'm really concerned about. But when I saw this trailer, my opinion completely changed. It looked amazing. First, and I think the most important thing about it is it's open world. I don't know how open world it is, like I don't think they really told us about that, but it's open world enough where it's like, you have a free roam mode and on the tracks are big and you can go onto other tracks. So it's very similar to Forza Horizon. I haven't played a lot of Forza Horizon, but it's very similar in that like open world feel. You have like this map that feels a lot more grounded and more connected, and it just looked really cool. There are a lot of smaller things I really liked about it too. Like you can sort of there's a little bit like Sonic type platforming and stuff in it. You can like grind on rails with the cars on the side, and that was really cool. Um, you can hop from wall to wall. So like if you remember like in Sonic Heroes, if you ever played that, how you have like I forgot what it was called, but you hop side to side on the walls. You sort of have that with the carts. There's some new characters too. The Moo from Moo Moo Meadows, the cow that was really cool. So yeah, there was a lot of really interesting stuff in it, and it made me interested in Mario Kart in a way that I really just haven't been interested in Mario Kart. Like I love Mario Kart, it's a great game, especially to play with other people, but it's not a game that I'm like deeply into. I'm not doing the crazy ass speed runs that people are doing on the Wii. I'm not playing Funky Kong or anything like that. I occasionally play it, when I'm at a party with my friends or family, the Mario Kart functions, you know what I mean? Like Mario Kart is the game you play. Oh shit, my audio got really loud right there. I'm sorry about that. I'll lower it. But Mario Kart is the game that you play, with other people and stuff. It's the game you play at parties and stuff like that. So I've never been too deep into it, but this is the first time with a Mario Kart game where I'm like, yo, like I want to play this shit by myself. I want to go online with it. I want to, really experience this. And it's just a really cool thing to see. So, Mario Kart, uh, fuck, what was it called? Mario Kart World. So far, it was a really cool way to start it off. Really cool launch game. But there is one thing about it we'll get into at the end. I want to keep this positive, first and foremost. So I'm not gonna mention that aspect of that fucking game at the moment. It doesn't even have to do with the game, but we'll get to it later. Anyway, so the next thing we had was game chat. Cool. Like, okay, so the thing with game chat, right, is it was cool, it was cool, and it's nice to finally have Nintendo have a feature that every console has had since like 2002. It's cool, but part of it, it's sort of behind, which is a lot of what Nintendo is when it comes to other stuff consoles are doing. Like you're only able to have three other people in, so it's basically just four people in a chat, which, comparing that to what Microsoft was doing like 20 years ago, like with the original Xbox and Halo 2 and stuff like that, we had these huge ass party chats. And another thing I was thinking about is like, what games are we gonna be like using this with? Like, is it just gonna be like something you just have on, to talk to your friends and stuff, or are we gonna have like multiplayer focused games? Because outside of like Splatoon and maybe Mario Party, like I don't know. Like, I just don't really see a need for game chat with the Switch. I think the Switch and just Nintendo itself has just cemented itself as a single player console or local multiplayer. So getting game chat this late, while it is cool, and I do like the uniqueness of it. I'm not sure if the Connect ever had the like camera feature with game chat. Like, I think there was like maybe like a call feature on it. I don't remember. So look that up after this, but um it is cool that we have the camera. It has that like, Nintendo charm with it. But, they made a huge deal out of game chat. And I'm just like, I'm like, you know what? Whatever. Cool, I guess. But I did like it. The camera, I guess, like, it was cool though. It was cool, to see. So I liked it. And another thing I really liked is that we finally have 4K support. I didn't think Nintendo was gonna do it. I didn't think we were gonna get such a graphical upgrade, but we have 4K support with the Switch. Finally, it's insane. And it feels like this is a generation where Nintendo is finally like trying to, focus on graphics a little bit, trying to, compete on that level. Obviously, they're not going to compete with the fucking PS5. They're not going to compete with the Series X on that level. They're not going to reach them, but they're getting closer to it. And they're making an effort. And that, I'm not like, obviously, nobody plays Nintendo for graphics, but, that's something that I appreciate, them at the very least, like, okay, we're not just gonna bullshit around with graphics and with power. Let's try to push it a little bit. Let's try to, especially since we have a mastery of the Switch's hardware. So I really did enjoy seeing that, even though I'm not gonna really, get a 4K TV anytime soon. But what comes with that also is upgraded games. So Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, I think one other game, and my personal, like, the game I care most about when it comes to this, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. They have Nintendo Switch 2 editions, which basically, have just basically just remastered versions of the games, just uh, more powerful. They look better, they run better. Breath of the Wild runs amazing from what we've seen on it. And I feel like this was something some people expected. Like, Arlo was talking about in his video, his prediction video that came out like 2 days ago. I was like, I was on the fence. I was like, maybe, maybe not. It's Nintendo, but they surprised me, and I'm happy. The games look great. It looks like a lot of these games uh should have been made for the Switch too. To be honest, just how good they run, how good they look. So that was also really cool, and I'm excited to play Metroid Prime 4 on it. And speaking of graphics and what comes with that, third party support. And the third party support is still very, Switch like. We have better third party support than, the Wii and the Wii U era, but it's not like we're not at that level of like, oh, we're just one of the other consoles, that these companies are going to put their big ass, AAA game on. But we do get Elden Ring now. And, thank God Elden Ring is going to be, done through that fucking cloud shit. So that's really cool. Um, I think Elden Ring is like the limit, to be honest. Like, I don't think we're getting GTA 6 anytime soon. I don't think we're gonna get any like PS5 and Xbox Series X exclusive games because Elden Ring was on the PS4 and Xbox One, I'm pretty sure. So, it's not like an insane leap, but it's enough of a leap where it's like, okay, Nintendo's doing their thing, the graphics are getting better. They're focused a little bit more on hardware this year, and that's a really interesting direction for them to go into. And I'm excited to see what other third-party games we're getting brought over. And speaking of third party, we also have another From Software game. I don't remember the name of it, but a lot of people are calling it Bloodborne 2. And I'm not a huge From Software person, so but again, it is cool that we have third party support, and it is cool that such a huge developer like From Software is, making a Nintendo exclusive game. And you could tell it was Nintendo exclusive by the graphics. Like you could tell. Yeah, that was really cool. But a game I'm really excited for is Kirby Air Ride, man. We get a sequel to Kirby fucking Air Ride. That's insane, man. It's sequel to Kirby Air Ride in 2025, and as one of the like the major titles. There was three major titles that they announced, like first party titles. I'll get into the third one later on. Um, but I was really excited to see Kirby Air Ride. I really enjoyed the original. It was such a unique game. It had such a unique concept and just how it was executed. And now that the Kirby world has expanded so much, we have like Magalore and all the stuff that was going on in the DS games. we just have so much more Kirby stuff now. And to add that onto all the stuff we had in Air Ride, the modes, the mode that everybody loves, City Trial, I believe, where you go around collecting power ups and then you race at the end. Like, it's just really cool that Nintendo is, coming back with such a unique and innovative racer, making a sequel to that. And I'm just so excited to see just the new Kirby stuff they incorporate and the new modes, And we got Sakurai on it too, so I already know it's gonna be good. But anyway, one of the thing that made me get out my bed and start jumping, man, the thing that woke me up when I was watching this was that we finally have GameCube Online. Now, I want to say this first of all. I hate Nintendo Switch Online. I think it's a horrible way to play classic games. I hate that you have to be online. I hate that it costs the price it does with the N64. I just don't like Nintendo Switch Online. I think it's just a terrible idea. Just another example of Nintendo fucking us over just because we want to play some classic games. But it's the GameCube. So I'm gonna get it. I'm really excited to see. I'm really excited to play these games, man. I don't even know which one I want to start with, honestly. We have Path of Radiance, Fire Emblem, which is just insane because that game costs fucking half a fortune on goddamn eBay. So it's really cool that we're able to finally play that, without having to sell half of our soul. But we'll get to this soul selling shit. Fucking sorry, I'm not excited to talk about, the elephant in the room. But anyway, we had Wind Waker, which is also really cool. Um we had F-Zero GX, another insane title to be able to play on the Switch. And yeah, I don't really have too much to say about it other than like I don't like Nintendo Switch Online, but I'm gonna get it for the GameCube. Like that's like I wish I wasn't such a, slave to it, but that's sort of it's the GameCube, man. Like that's all I got to say about that. But anyway, shit. Sorry. There's just a lot of noise around me. I'm not editing this. I'm not gonna like because I'm already at 12 minutes. So I'm just gonna keep rambling and stuff. We got Donkey Kong Bonanza, the final big game that they announced, the final big first party game, and it was really cool. It's the first 3D Donkey Kong since '64, and unlike that game, it doesn't seem like we're collecting too much. The collectibles are going to be kept to a minimum, hopefully, or at the very least, like done a little bit better. Um, the big thing about this game is that you have this huge, huge map from what we've seen. And on top of that, you're able to, just break shit and dig underground. And, it just looks really chaotic, but it also looks really cool, man. I'm not a huge fan of Donkey Kong's new design. They redesigned him, and the first time we saw it was Mario Kart World, and I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that I'm used to how Donkey Kong's been looking since Country essentially, and how he's been looking since Returns. But I don't know. Like it's not bad. I like it to an extent. It's whatever. Maybe I'll get used to it. But there's just something about it that just looks off to me. But outside of that, the game looks really cool. I'm excited to play it. Like that's really all I gotta say about that at the moment. Um, the open world looks great. Like that's really all I gotta say. I wish we did have more games to announce. I feel like with the original Nintendo Switch presentation back in January 2017, they announced everything, man. We had like ARMS, we had Mario Odyssey, we had everything, and they definitely scaled it back a bit. They focused more on hardware, software, and third-party stuff too. And we got, only a couple of Nintendo Switch 2 um exclusive first party games, but it's whatever at this point. We'll get more down the line. We got Metroid Prime 4 coming out this year. We got the Switch 2 coming out this year, I believe June 15th, 2025. So in 2 months we get it. And it's like I guess I can't be too upset about that. But I wish we maybe got one more game, I don't know. Maybe Star Fox? Probably not. But anyway, so yeah, that was the presentation. And it was great. Honestly, Nintendo really stepped up, and it's genuinely surprising coming from Nintendo that they were able to do so good with this. But then I hopped on Twitter, the greatest place on earth, and saw the prices. For some fucking reason, this company decided to raise the price of their games to $70, which is, the industry standard at the moment. It's the standard for the PS5, Xbox Series X, it's whatever, right? But with Mario Kart World, for some reason, and actually, let me make sure I got enough time to talk about this. My computer might die, so I don't know. But for some reason, these motherfuckers decided, yo, let's make it cost $80 for no reason. And I have a few theories as to why. My first theory is actually no, all this goes together. For some reason, Nintendo thinks whenever they do open world that they just get to fuck up the price of their game, because the open world for Nintendo, it's so special because again, Nintendo, they're not a hardware focused company. So we never really got huge open world games outside like Xenoblade X, but like we never got like huge major first party games with like open worlds made by Nintendo. Even if we had a game with an open world like Zelda, it wasn't the same thing as Skyrim. It wasn't the same thing as Fallout. You know, so when we got Breath of the Wild, that was like a huge thing because it was Nintendo going into that area that other developers and other, companies have already gone into. But for some reason they think like it's special when they do it. Like yeah, don't get me wrong, how Nintendo does open worlds it's different than how other companies do it, but that doesn't mean it's like special and it should cost more. Like I don't want to pay $80 because we get to race around in an open world Mario Kart. Like that's insane. That's insane. And I don't know what they're thinking with that. And the worst part is that it costs even more money physical. They made it cost $90 physical. You're almost paying $100 to get a box. Nothing even comes with it. There's no art book. It's the base physical box. And they said, yo, you gotta pay $90 just to have a box with not even a manual in it, man. Like, what the fuck? What are they thinking? This greedy ass company. Another reason I think is because of how successful Mario Kart 8 was. Mario Kart 8 is the best-selling game in the biggest gaming franchise of all time. That's insane. That's crazy. There's so many Mario games. There's 400 plus Mario games. And again, that's on Nintendo's most successful home console. So Nintendo is already going into this with an ego. We could raise that price. They're not gonna. It's Mario Kart. They're gonna buy it. But the difference is, right, is that the thing is there's a lot of reasons why Mario Kart 8 was successful. And one of the reasons is like I just said, it's Mario Kart. It's the family game. It's the platformer game. I mean not the platform. It's the family game. It's the party game. All that, right? And what comes with that is the casual audience. And here's the thing: the casual audience, they don't give a fuck about an open world Mario Kart game. They don't give a fuck about you could play as the fucking fishes or Moo Moo or whatever the fuck. They don't care about that. The one thing the casuals care about, the one thing is, does this game cost too much? When they see that $80 price tag, they're not gonna think, oh, but it looks so good, open world and these new characters. They're gonna be like, oh, we already got Mario Kart. We don't need an $80 new version of it. Like no, we don't need that. Most of these niggas won't even buy a new Nintendo Switch because there's not gonna be a virus keeping niggas in the house. There's not gonna be like most casuals are satisfied with the Switch. Nintendo, didn't we learn this lesson with the Wii U? Casual gamers don't care about this shit. Some will pick up a Switch too, but a lot won't because they already got a Switch. They're satisfied with it. They have their games. They don't care about differences that only actual gamers who are watching these presentations care about. So, going into this thinking, oh, we're just gonna finesse these niggas again, it's just it's so insane to me. And it's just crazy. Like Nintendo, Jesus, what are they thinking, man? And this brought the hype completely down. Twitter isn't necessarily like the best place to get opinions from, but it just brought everything down everywhere, man. Like all hype just sort of like got diverted to like the fucking price. And I mean, yeah, it's ridiculous. $80, $70, $90 for physical? Why are we making games cost more physical? Like why? And some people were saying, "Oh, well, Trump and tariffs." I don't give a fuck because Nintendo's not complaining about this. So, it's just such a black mark on such a great presentation. And I just and I knew something was gonna off. I knew something watching this was off. I was like, I'm really enjoying this, but it's like, this is Nintendo. They're gonna fuck up somewhere. And they just had to. in the worst possible way. So I don't know if I'm gonna get this on release date. I don't know how I'm gonna get this new Mario Kart game. It's not even about the money. Like I'll have 90, $80. I have enough money at the time, probably. But it's just why? Like why? You know? So that just took a lot out of it, man. And it just, there's so many reasons. I could rant about this for hours, honestly. But, I want to keep this a little bit short, so I'll wrap it up now. So, overall, the Nintendo Switch 2 Direct was really good. Like, genuinely amazing in a lot of ways. There were some aspects I, wish, like, okay, I wish we saw maybe at least one more first party game. I wish we even saw a little bit more third party in some aspects. But overall, it was genuinely a really good direct. It got me extremely hyped for a console that I was just sort of like, okay, Switch 2 is coming, whatever. And somehow, some way, Nintendo, being the amazing, greedy, scumfuck company they are, took all that hype and just shot it. It's not dead, but Jesus, man. It hurts. I'm just like, shit, I don't want to pay $80 for fucking Mario Kart, man. I don't. I don't. What were they thinking? Jesus, man. This company is just so fucking scummy, bro. Like, Jesus, I hate Nintendo sometimes, man. Still gonna buy it though. But yeah, overall, great presentation. Just horrible fucking prices, man. Horrible. But with all that being said, man, I'm the Masked Man. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day, night, whatever time it is for you. And I'll see you guys hopefully later this week. I got another video coming out about a completely different topic, completely different thing. It's going to be scripted, more edited, more cleaned up than this. I do have a lot of pauses and, like messes up in this recording. I got to fix a little bit of the audio, but I'm not editing anything down in this. I'm just rambling. So, hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys soon. So, peace out, take care, and have a good night. See you guys later.